Imagine stepping into a lavish Victorian drawing room, the air thick with anticipation and curiosity. The elite of society gather here, their conversations a mix of science, gossip, and the supernatural. Ornate wallpaper, flickering candlelight, and the rustle of silk dresses set the scene for something extraordinary. Suddenly all eyes turn upward as a man begins to float near the ceiling. No visible wires, no obvious tricks, just pure astonishment etched on every face in the room. That man was Daniel Dunglass Home, a name whispered in both awe and skepticism. He was the most baffling physical medium of his era, a figure who seemed to blur the line between reality and the impossible. Home didn't just claim to speak with the dead, he made tables rise and spin, conjured ghostly hands that materialized in broad daylight, and performed feats that left even the most rational minds questioning their senses. Unlike many mediums who preferred the shadows, Home welcomed scrutiny. He held seances in brightly lit rooms, inviting guests, often scientists, writers, and aristocrats, to inspect every corner, every object, before the phenomena began. Accordions would play haunting melodies with no one touching them, phantom hands plucked flowers from vases, and Home himself would rise from the ground, sometimes gliding out a window and back in again, leaving his audience speechless. Was he truly a bridge to the spirit world, or a master illusionist whose skills surpassed even the sharpest skeptics? Home's performances drew the attention of scientists, magicians, and even royalty, all eager to uncover his secrets. Despite relentless investigation and countless attempts to expose him, no one ever caught Home in the act of fraud. His methods, if they were tricks, remained a mystery. His story is a whirlwind of high society intrigue, scientific inquiry, and events that seem to defy every known law of nature. Home's life became a battleground between belief and skepticism, with each new demonstration adding fuel to the fire. As we delve into his remarkable life, we're not just chasing ghost stories. We're exploring a time when the boundaries of science and the supernatural blurred, and the impossible felt tantalizingly close. Prepare to step into the enigmatic world of D.D. Home, where the laws of physics seem to bend, and every answer leads to more questions. This is a story that will challenge your beliefs, ignite your imagination, and make you wonder, what if the impossible really was possible?
Things you only talk about at the back of the cave.
Daniel Dunglass Home was born in 1833 near Edinburgh, Scotland, a land steeped in ancient legends and misty folklore. The rolling hills and quiet villages of his childhood were places where tales of the supernatural were whispered by firelight, and belief in the unseen was woven into daily life. Home entered the world in a family rumored to possess second sight, a mystical ability to glimpse events before they happened, or to see spirits invisible to others. This reputation set the stage for the extraordinary life that awaited him. Even as a child, strange things happened. His cradle rocked by unseen hands, and odd noises echoed through the house at night. Relatives whispered that the boy was marked by something otherworldly, and neighbors kept their distance, wary of the inexplicable. When Home was still young, his family made the long, uncertain journey across the Atlantic, seeking a new life in America. They settled in Connecticut, where Daniel was raised by his aunt, far from the Scottish hills, but not from the mysteries that seemed to follow him. In the mid-1800s, the spiritualist movement was booming in America. Seances, spirit rapping, and ghostly apparitions fascinated the public, and Home's unusual abilities soon re-emerged, drawing attention from all sides. After his mother's death, mysterious noises filled his aunt's house, the very same night she passed away, as if her spirit had come to say goodbye. The family was shaken and rumors spread quickly. Soon furniture began to move on its own, sliding across the floor or tipping over without warning. Objects would levitate or spin, and witnesses were left speechless by the eerie displays. Tables rapped out messages, spelling out words and names, as if guided by invisible hands. The house became a place of wonder and fear, drawing curious neighbors and anxious relatives. Terrified by the growing commotion and unable to cope with the supernatural events, his aunt expelled him from her home. Yet this rejection would prove to be a turning point, launching Home's remarkable career as a medium. Word spread quickly about the boy who could command furniture and communicate with spirits. Newspapers reported on his feats, and gossip buzzed in parlors and drawing rooms across the region. Instead of being shunned, Home was welcomed by curious, wealthy patrons eager to witness his powers firsthand. He became a sensation among the upper classes, invited to grand homes and exclusive gatherings. Remarkably, he never charged for séances, choosing instead to live off the generosity of his hosts. This decision only added to his mystique, as he seemed uninterested in profit or fame. This set him apart from other mediums of the era, many of whom were accused of trickery or greed. Home's refusal to accept payment gave him an air of respectability and trustworthiness. He wasn't a showman seeking money or applause, he was a gentleman sharing a mysterious gift, captivating audiences with his calm demeanor and astonishing abilities. Holmes' journey from outcast to sought-after guest was just beginning. Each new encounter brought him deeper into the world of the elite, and his reputation only grew. His reputation grew as he demonstrated his abilities to more influential people, scientists, writers, and even royalty. The most powerful and skeptical minds of the age were drawn to witness his seances. The stage was set for his rise to international fame. Invitations poured in from across Europe and America, and Home traveled widely, leaving a trail of astonished witnesses in his wake. The world was about to witness marvels it could barely comprehend, as Daniel Dunglass Home stepped into the spotlight and changed the course of spiritualism forever. Now on his own, Home traveled across America, staying with prominent families eager to witness his phenomena. Tables levitated, instruments played themselves, and cold breezes swept through closed rooms. Home performed in full light, encouraging guests to inspect everything. This transparency disarmed skeptics and made his feats seem miraculous. Unlike other mediums, he stood out by inviting scrutiny. His fame soared, and newspapers dubbed him a modern-day prophet. Even skeptics like Professor Robert Hare tried to debunk him, only to become believers. By 1855, Home had conquered America, but his health suffered. Doctors advised a trip to Europe, and with his reputation preceding him, he set his sights on London and Paris. Home was about to bring his supernatural theater to the world's most sophisticated audiences. The boy from Scotland was stepping onto the world stage. The performance was just beginning. The impossible was about to become international news. Arriving in London in 1855, Home became an instant sensation, captivating the city's imagination almost overnight. The British capital, with its foggy streets and bustling crowds, was a place where reputations could be made or broken in a heartbeat. Yet Home's arrival was met, not with suspicion, but with fascination. He was young, charming, and didn't fit the stereotype of a wild-eyed mystic. Instead, he presented himself as a refined gentleman, well-spoken and impeccably dressed, which only added to his allure. Invitations poured in from the grandest homes. Home held seances for poets, politicians, and aristocrats, dazzling them with mysterious phenomena. Tables levitated, ghostly hands appeared, and messages from the beyond seemed to materialize in candlelit rooms. Among his most famous admirers was Elizabeth Barrett Browning, who became a fervent believer in his abilities. Her husband, the poet Robert Browning, was equally passionate, but as a fierce skeptic. Their disagreement became legendary in literary circles, with Robert penning a scathing poem attacking Home's credibility, while Elizabeth defended him in letters and conversation. Despite the controversy, Home's star only rose higher. He was soon invited to Paris, where he performed for Napoleon III and Empress Eugénie at the glittering French imperial court. The Empress, still mourning her father's death, was deeply moved when a spirit hand, bearing a striking resemblance to her late father's, appeared during a séance, bringing her to tears. Royal endorsements gave Home unprecedented credibility. Suddenly, he was not just a performer, but a guest of honor among Europe's most powerful families. He was no longer just a curiosity. He was a phenomenon validated by Europe's elite, his name whispered with awe in drawing rooms from London to Paris. Performing in private palaces, he avoided the exposure and scrutiny of public halls, ensuring that only the most select audiences witnessed his feats. These exclusive candlelit gatherings added to his mystique and protected him from would-be debunkers, who found it nearly impossible to gain access. Home had positioned himself at the very top of society, where belief in the supernatural was not only tolerated, but fashionable, a mark of sophistication and open-mindedness. In these rarefied circles, skepticism was almost impolite, and to question Holmes' abilities was to risk social exclusion. Holmes' mastery was as much social as supernatural. He understood the power of exclusivity, reputation, and spectacle, and used them to conquer the capital's most influential hearts and minds. Nothing captured the public's imagination like Holmes' levitations. Witnesses claimed he floated slowly and gracefully, sometimes near the ceiling for minutes. The most famous event, in 1868, Holmes allegedly floated out a third-story window and back in through another, witnessed by aristocrats who swore it was real. Skeptics suggested tricks or poor lighting, but the witnesses never wavered. The Ashley House levitation remains one of the most debated events in paranormal history. Sometimes he floated inches off the floor. Other times, he touched the ceiling, inviting guests to verify his feet dangled in empty air. Even scientist Sir William Crookes saw Holmes levitate under controlled conditions and was left baffled. Holmes' levitations became his signature marvel. They were rare but spectacular, always leaving audiences stunned. No one could explain them, but no one could deny the testimony of so many credible witnesses. For believers, it was proof of the supernatural. For skeptics, it was the ultimate challenge. Holmes' ability to fly remains his most enduring mystery. Holmes' seances featured more than levitation. They were filled with physical phenomena. Solid, lifelike spirit hands would materialize, patting guests or handing them objects before vanishing. His favorite trick, an accordion, locked in a cage under the table, would play itself. Holmes' hands, visible at all times. Sometimes, entire rooms filled with music from invisible orchestras, bells, guitars, even locked pianos played. The music often matched songs loved by deceased relatives of the sitters. These experiences were multisensory. Guests saw, heard, and felt the impossible. The emotional impact was profound, making the seances unforgettable. For many, it was tangible proof that loved ones were near. The combination of spectacle and intimacy set Holmes apart from all other mediums. His seances were not just performances, they were deeply personal encounters with the unknown. Holmes' most dangerous feat was the fire test. He would reach into a blazing fireplace, pick up red-hot coals with his bare hands, and carry them around the room, unscathed. Sometimes he placed the coal on others' heads or hands, and they felt no heat. Skeptics burned themselves trying to replicate the feat. Scientific explanations like the Leidenfrost effect fall short. Holmes held the coals far longer than science allows. The fire test was a raw display of power, performed repeatedly without injury. It defied rational explanation and left even skeptics speechless. Holmes' confidence and apparent immunity to fire only deepened his legend. Holmes' claims drew relentless scrutiny from skeptics, magicians, and scientists. The famed magician Robert Houdin declared Holmes' feats impossible to replicate under the same conditions. Despite decades of investigation, Holmes was never definitively exposed as a fraud. His greatest test came from Sir William Crookes, a leading Victorian scientist. Crookes conducted rigorous experiments in his own lab, using special devices to measure Holmes' phenomena. He documented levitations, spirit hands, and instruments playing themselves. Crookes concluded the phenomena were genuine, though he couldn't explain them. The scientific community was divided. Some accused Crookes of being duped, others were simply baffled. Holmes' case became a battleground between science and the supernatural. He remained an unsolved puzzle, challenging the limits of scientific understanding. No one could quite explain him or dismiss him. Away from the seances, Holmes was known for his charm and gentle manners. He was well-read, intelligent, and made people feel at ease, qualities that fueled his success. Unlike theatrical mediums, he seemed genuinely humble and surprised by his own abilities. His personal life was marked by both privilege and tragedy. He married into Russian nobility but lost his first wife to tuberculosis. Holmes claimed her spirit comforted him during seances, deepening his belief in the afterlife. He battled illness throughout his life, often left weak after seances. Later, he remarried, retired from public mediumship, and wrote his autobiography. Holmes died in 1886, never confessing to trickery, insisting he was a vessel for unknown powers. Whether mystic or master illusionist, he lived a life that defied belief. What are we to make of Daniel Dunglass Home? He remains a giant in paranormal history, forcing us to confront the limits of our understanding. Was he the greatest trickster ever, or did he truly defy the laws of nature? The complexity and variety of his feats, performed under scrutiny, make simple fraud hard to believe. If even a fraction of the reports are true, the implications are staggering. Holmes' case challenges us to be open-minded and question our assumptions. His legacy is a meticulously documented historical puzzle, with testimony from the elite of his era. He created a crisis of belief, science versus spirituality, reason versus wonder. Holmes is a question mark in history, reminding us not to dismiss what we cannot explain. His story invites us to explore the unknown and consider that reality may be stranger than we think.